Welcome. I appreciate that you've taken a couple of minutes of your time to watch this video. I have 8 important things that I've discovered for myself, and hopefully, it'll be an encouragement for you. But I will first want to begin by asking this question: Are you happy? Do you feel that life is fulfilling? Do you know what you're supposed to do? Do you find that you're not satisfied with what you have? Well, I have 8 things that I've personally found for myself that has brought to me happiness, joy. First is to love God above all things. Moses said it, Jesus said it. When you love God above all things, you're loving the creator of all things. The house, the materials, and all that. Love God above all things because He loves us. Second is very important. Seek God above all things. Well, I don't have time. Well, I come back to the beginning. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Maybe not. But if you seek God and you ask Him, Lord, help me. How do I seek God? Well, 2 basic ways of seeking God is basically by prayer, and second by reading the Word of God. 2 ways of seeking God, which is fundamental. When you seek God, He will direct you in your family, He will direct you in your business, He will direct you in your finances, He will direct you emotionally, physically. Third, be filled with His presence. Be filled with the presence of God. Well, how do I be filled with the presence of God? Well, once you love God, once you seek God, then you say, Lord, fill me up with your love. Fill me up with your peace. Fill me up with your joy. Because there are areas in everybody's life that needs to be worked on. And once you ask God for His presence, then He will help you to overcome your difficulties. Next point, which brings me to point number 4. Be like Christ. Well, how is Christ? I'm not perfect. Well, I'm not perfect neither. But this is what God wants. He wants us to become like Christ. Well, how do I become like Christ? Well, first first of all, let's look how Christ is. Christ was never judgmental. He wasn't racist. Christ was not selfish. Christ always had the answer. Christ was generous. Christ was a man filled with love and filled with compassion, filled of wisdom and filled of peace. And this is what we need today. Next point is very important. Do you know what you're called for? Do you know what you're calling? What do you enjoy to do? Is to understand your calling. And you will never understand what your calling is unless you seek God and He will show you what your calling is. Do you feel calling to speak? Do you feel calling to visit? Do you feel your calling in the music? Do you feel your calling in worship? Do you feel your calling in serving? What do you draw? What draws your attention? What would you like to learn? What is that thing that people admire about you? Is it an art skill? That's important. Understanding your calling. The next point, once you understand what your calling is, this is very important. I have Facebook, I have YouTube. Uh, there's so many different things we get entertained with, but entertainment is time consuming. When you become entertained with certain things, you're not really drawn to your calling, you're drawn to your pleasures. And here's the thing, you're going to get old. You're going to be in your 50s and 60s, and you're going to say, my goodness, my time is wasted. You're going to end up in the same place 10, 15 years, not finding fulfilled, being broke, and all this. What I want to get to is when you have a calling, is simply understand this. Invest your time, everything that's drawn to your calling. If music is your calling, then you need to watch videos, you need to read materials on things that will help you in your calling. If your calling is to become a good secretary, learn everything about becoming a secretary. If your calling is to become a speaking, don't watch uh, boxing, because that has nothing to do with your calling. If you're going to be a speaker, watch people like Martin Luther King and great preachers. Everything that's pertaining to your calling, that's what you need to invest your time in. Invest your time in what's your calling. The next thing is learning how to love people. You see, God put us in this world not to be surrounded only by animals. When you walk out your door, you're going to see somebody walking. When you go to the supermarket, you're going to be dealing with people. When you go to your job, you're going to have a phone call. You're going to be dealing with people. See, we are here on earth and we are called to deal with people. We are called to live with people. Go to McDonald's, you're going to deal with somebody. You go to, you're going to sit down next to somebody. So love people. Love people. Learn how to be forgiving and love people, because once you start to love people, it makes all the difference. And last, be a giver. Learn how to give. Don't only wait for people to give you something. Don't wait for people to give you a handout. Be a giver. I learned something that when you give, you receive. When you sow, you grow. When you plant, you have something to expect back. Spending money is wasting. When you spend, you waste. No gift, no reward when you spend your money. You ever notice how when you work 8 hours, 40 hours, 60 hours, you notice that when you work, you sow into a company, and what is the reward? Your paycheck. When a farmer plants a seed, he expects a tree. So giving is very important. So let's break it down. Love God above all your heart. Seek God. Be filled with the presence of God. Become like Christ. Know your calling. Invest in your calling, meaning don't waste your time on something that has nothing to do with your calling. Love people. Love people. Because when you start to love people, this is how you make your income. You enjoy your job better. And 8, be a giver. Learn how to give. Learn how to be a giver, not a taker. Because by giving is how you become wealthy. Well, I hope you enjoy this. Pray about it. My name is Brother Sam, and God bless you. Bye bye.